Hi everyone, Arun Kamath here, hope everyone's well. I wanted to use this video to talk about another type of rig that I've got. You may have seen in a different video me talking about my Engel rig and my larger option for bigger stages. This rig that I'm going to talk about is a smaller footprint, a smaller option. So this rig I would use when I know that, for example, I've not got a lot of stage space where I'm playing, or if there's not a lot of space in the venue for like loading in. It's also small enough I can transport it myself without needing to use a car, for example. So it's a really good option for reducing footprint. We'll do this in terms of signal chain again. I will probably talk about my guitars in a completely other video, but we'll do this in terms of signal chain. So we'll start with the pedal board. Come down to the pedal board. You see that the pedal board is a much smaller footprint than my other one. So this is actually a Pedal Train Mini, whereas the other one was a Pedal Train Novo 32. On this board, I've only got four pedals and a switcher at the side here. All the pedals here are powered by this True Tone one-spot power supply, which fits nicely lengthways onto my board. Now, should say that if I wanted to have a wireless option, what I tend to do is just put the wireless on top here, and I've got the power for it there. But if I don't, then I do what I do here and just run the cable straight into here. The first thing it hits is this Moore baby tuner. Again, great little tuner. You tend to use it just as a mute and obviously to tune the guitar. After that, it goes into this, which is an Ibanez Tube Screamer Mini. This is based on the classic Ibanez Tube Screamer, just a smaller footprint. I have the settings pretty standard, drive down, level up, tone to taste. Sometimes that can be there, sometimes I'll move it around. Then the signal jumps over here to my TC Electronics Sentry noise gate. Now I love this noise gate because it's got a loop in it, so I can gate before the amp and I can gate the amp itself as well. So it goes into the input here, and then the send on the Sentry goes to the amp. Now I like this noise gate as well because although it's quite wide, it's quite shallow, and so it kind of is in keeping with the rest of the board. So like before, I will talk about the amp another time. So the signal goes from here to the amp, comes back into this pedal here. Now, in my previous video, I talked about how I like to use chorus and delay on my lead and clean sounds, just a bit of color, but I don't particularly like to mess around too much with delay times, chorus times, things like that. I just want it there for a bit of color, but I'm not really too fussed about, you know, having lots of different settings. And what I really wanted was a pedal that could do chorus and delay. So did a bit of Googling and found this, which is a Moore Baby Water. This pedal is actually designed for acoustic guitar, I think. At least some of the reviews I've seen are it being used on acoustic guitars. But I thought, you know what, I'll try it for my setup. And you know what, this pedal works really well. It's like a really happy accident, I suppose. It's got a setting here which says CHDL. Don't know if you can see that. But that means chorus and delay, and yeah, I just have that on. Another thing about this pedal is the way I've got it set is when I turn it on, it actually gives a I don't know if it's supposed to, but it gives a very slight volume boost, which when I'm doing a lead or a solo, I actually want a little bit of volume boost. So it's a nice little bonus in that regard. And then it goes back into the TC Sentry noise gate and then back to the amp effects return. Got a little switcher here just because the amp's got 2 channels on it, so it's got clean, and then that's on the overdrive channel. So if we head over to the amp, we'll talk a little bit more about that. So now we come over to the amp head. I've gone for a smaller footprint head, so it's a bit lighter and it's a bit smaller. It's a 40-watt Victory Countess amp. Now, when you're thinking about Victory amps and using them for metal, you typically would go for something like a Kraken or a Super Kraken. And I do really like those, and I do really want to try one. But when I bought this amp, I actually bought it with the intention, and I do use it in my covers band where I'm playing a lot of rock, pop, funk kind of things. I see the Countess as a sort of hard rock amp. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to try it for metal. Before I buy anything else, I thought I'll try it for metal. And honestly, I was blown away how good this amp sounds for metal. We put it on the overdrive channel, stick an overdrive pedal in, and you've got really meaty, crunchy tones for days. It's so good. It's a 40-watt amp, but that's plenty loud enough to do any kind of gig. I've used this amp in the metal bands for a couple of gigs, and it's absolutely blown me away. I can't actually remember what tubes are in it, but I'm sure you could look it up online. But yeah, it's a great option. It's really light head. It's a great option for a small footprint. So yeah, this whole thing works. And I could, if I wanted to, literally carry this, carry that, carry a guitar case, maybe a little bag for my leads, and that's my rig. And I can get on the bus with that kind of rig. So just wanted to give you a smaller option where you've still got authentic warm tube tone in a small footprint. In terms of cabs, at the moment I've got this hooked up to my Engel 4x12, which I've talked about in a previous video. Honestly, if I'm using this setup, generally it's where I'm traveling light to a gig and there's some sort of cab share situation. So, I don't have a specific cab for this rig, but I will use it with this cab or any of my other cabs. I have the 2x12 version of this cab as well. So yeah, I just wanted to give you an insight into the smaller option rig that I've got. And yeah, like I said, it works really well for playing with both Beyond Salvation and also with Screaming Beast. Two very different types of sound, but it works just as well. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you found this useful and interesting. If you did and you want to see more content, you can subscribe to my channel down there. You can also follow me on social media. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, both at Arun Kamath 86. You can follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/Arun Kamath Music. So thank you very much and see you soon.